Thank you for coming back to Hawkeye's House of Horrors. And I'm Hawkeye, and I'm going to bring to you today a review to a sequel of a TV horror film of 1981 that I thought was really good. I did a review for that one, but the sequel just has a number on the end, but it's Dark Knight of the Scarecrow 2. This one is fairly recent, might be the most recent film I have reviewed. It's from 2022, was not released theatrically, but we got tons of streaming services out there, so this one might be uh, easy to find. That's where I found this one. But yeah, this one, unfortunately, it is a stinker as well. Some people out there might be like, Hawkeye, do you like any films at all? Yeah, I do. I love a lot of them. But this one is a stinker. I actually watched this yesterday. My brother-in-law is up from out of town, and he was just taking a break, relaxing. We actually watched this together. I'd seen it before, but we watched it together. And at the end of the movie, I'm going to use his quote. I got his okay for his thoughts on the film. He said right after the film ended was, "What the fuck was that?" And there you have it. This one is, boy, an extremely poor follow-up to the original. Unfortunately, none of the same actors return. Some of them have passed away. I mean, this is a long time later. This sequel comes out, and it's quite unnecessary. I don't think it's that popular, this film. So any fans of the original, I don't think they came running and screaming to find a sequel. There really wasn't one needed, but here we have it. As I wrote down, I definitely think this movie actually gets, just because there's so many things that bog the film down, that it just gets worse as it goes along, unfortunately. Now, it was written and directed by J.D. Feigelson, which is interesting because he was one of the writers of the story of the original and did the teleplay of the original. So he was able to put together a pretty darn good story in the original and follows it up with, no, it's not that. Not that at all. Now, I'll go quickly into the story. And then certainly I got 3 pages, which is good. Another one I was afraid of. Hey, I'm not going to have enough stuff to talk about, but yep. I got some things I didn't like about this film that I'm going to share with you today. Now, the story, I guess we can start with, is about a slower than usual farmhand. He's named Shrevey Nixon, played by Mike Van Zant. Now, he's thought to have killed his boss, Mr. Spool, played by Bill Morley. We see the murder happen, and we know it's not Shrevey that has committed it, it's the Scarecrow. But more about him in a moment or two. So the cops are after this Shrevey. Everyone in town, we're in the same town, by the way, thinks he did this crime. Um, in turn, as I said, we know it's this Scarecrow that we meet, and I swear it's on the edge of the field, not in the middle of the field, but the edge of the field. I would think in my mind it should be near the middle of the field, um, to scare the crows away. Um, but anyways, that's where he is. But we come to learn it is Bubba, the same character from the original film. And he's still hanging out in this field 41 years later, still there. Um, so step in the Reimer family. There's Mom, played by uh, Chris is her name, played by Amber Wedding. Now with her portrayal, I find at times her portrayal is too bland for my liking. But at other times, she does do a very good job in bringing forth the motherliness of her character. that certainly comes out, and that's good in her portrayal. And then there is her son Jeremy, played by Aidan Schur. Now, with this character, uh, I find him to be an extremely weird little kid. My thoughts on this kid are he must have no friends because he is so freaking weird. That would weird people away from him. He also thinks his mother doesn't care, when as the viewer, I get the exact opposite thing. She cares very much. But we kind of learn later he may be told things or fed things for him to think about and direct him on that path. But anyways, I don't know, there you have it. Now, Jeremy's only friend, living that is Aunt Hildy, played by Carol Dines. Now, Shrevey gets in contact with Jeremy um, because he knows the Scarecrow. Um, Now, in a scene that makes me slap my forehead, Shrevey decides in an introductory scene to this kid, why don't I just scare the shit out of him as I introduce myself? And then he's going to want to talk to me and side with me, and we'll go to the cops and explain everything. That's not how that works, dude. Then this leads to his death at the hands of Bubba, the Scarecrow, who, jumping to the third act of the film, we find um, out that it is Aunt Hildy who is using Bubba to kill the townsfolk. Um, Now, within that, I must say the reasons are there. There's reasons to kill all these people, but it is extremely thin compared to the original film. There was a very nice base setup at the beginning of that film as to what is going to transpire to all of these people. It all makes sense, or yeah, there's vengeance to be had there. This, as I said, is extremely thin. Now, within the story as well, with Chris, there actually is, with her character, some mystery to her character, which is good. That's good. I like that. That's positive. Um, there's something happening there. I like that. But in my opinion, how it is written out in the story and the dialogue of characters dealing with this mystery, sadly, it does not hit the mark needed for that to really work, in my opinion. Now, the mystery is her and her son are in the witness protection program due to her old ex, Harold Vance, played by Tim Gooch. He's in jail for, I think it's robbery. I think that's what it is. He's getting out, but I don't think he's been in jail very long. But she is correct in fearing for her life because once he gets out, he's after her. You're in trouble now. He's going to kill her. Um, so she was correct in her fear. I don't know if setting his character up as one that would do that works the best, but anyways, there you have it. Now, acting in this film with really all of the actors is nowhere near the level that we got in the original film. What with Charles Durning being in there, just for an example. No, we don't get the same kind of acting quality that we got in the first film. I'd say the three characters or actors that come off the best, in my opinion, there's Mike Van Sant, as Shrevey, um, Carol Dines as Aunt Hildy. She's very over the top, but since she's the villain, I give her a pass for that. Because yeah, there's a lot of villains in the history of film and TV shows that have been over the top. Um, and then there's James Hamblin as Deputy Leighton Turney. He's really the asshole cop. He comes off uh, good as well, or in that group of characters that come off the best on the screen. Now, with Aunt Hildy, Jeremy goes to her house. They know each other because he goes to her house after school. His mother is working, so he goes to Aunt Hildy's house for her to look after him until the mother picks him up. Um, and she likes to hang out at the cemetery. That might be an indicator right there. Might be an indicator. We then find out she is the cousin of Bubba. That's the connection. Her landlord is also Mr. Spool, who is the first victim of the film, but she's also back on payments for the house that she's living in. Uh, what is really strange is we find all of this out in a scene with Mr. Spool's lawyer, who shows up at the cemetery as if he is a spirit, but we know darn well he is not. So I'm not sure. Did that scare anyone? It's a weird setup. I found the scene strange, not scary, but not like David Cronenberg strange, just strange. Um, it didn't work for me either. Um, Now, a huge problem I have with Aunt Hildy and Bubba is she has zippo to do with the original film. She has nothing to do with it at all. Um, Yet now she is calling upon Bubba from the grave and using him for her biddings, using him for her own personal vengeance. But as I said earlier, it's very flimsy um, in the reasoning department. Or in the first film, Bubba wasn't just a brainless, what do you want me to do? Okay, I'll go do it. There was a reasoning, there was something behind it all that made him do what he did after he died. In fact, it isn't until Jeremy leaves Aunt Hildy at the end of the film to return to his mother where he belongs, then Bubba kills Aunt Hildy at that point. So, wait, is it actually Jeremy that's controlling Bubba? No, I don't think so. I do think it was Aunt Hildy all along, and she was lying to Jeremy. I'm not 100% sure why she needed Jeremy um, in order for Bubba to do these things. But there you have it again. Then we have the coppers in the film. First, there is Scott Terry, played by Adam Snyder. And personally, um, I hate doing this, but personally, I didn't really think it was that great of a portrayal. Uh, I thought he was quite wooden in the role. Um, it didn't seem like he was emotionally invested into the character as the actor. I don't know. It was not a good performance in my opinion. Um, as well as to his character, his introduction is beyond silly, as he's actually running around the Reimer property with his gun out, just running around. He literally points the gun at Chris as she's doing laundry. Um, and then she asks him what he's doing. I think he then said he heard someone calling, which may have been her calling to her son to pick up the phone inside the house. So he couldn't decipher what she said, I guess. And then he adds that he's looking for this Shrevey Nixon. Um, what? Uh, okay. Um, put your gun away. Like, Shrevey's not here. Okay, you're not Dirty Harry. It was a beyond silly introduction, in my opinion, of his character. And then we have Deputy Attorney. He drinks on the job, and I suppose due to needing more beer money, he is the man to kill Chris. He's paid to do it by Harold coming out of jail. Now he's the one that's going to kill Chris by him. But one question I have is why does Harold have to be at a jail in order for this to happen? Um, it would be rather, I don't know, easy to figure out, okay, who killed her or like why is she missing? He is out of jail and literally that same day or the following day she's gone missing. It's pretty obvious what happened to her. But the death of Nixon is hilarious. As it is in another scene where a lot of things with the murders or the kills happens off screen. Now in film, absolutely, some things are terrific that you as the viewer cannot see, or things are happening off screen that you can then put in within your own mind. But in my opinion, not really in slashers. The slasher fan, I think, wants to see that stuff right on the screen. Um, but in this scene, once we are off screen, he's in a barn. He's going to burn Bubba with this lighter and lighter fluid that he has. And then we're cut off screen looking at the outside of the barn. So, in a short period of time, maybe this is possible. Bubba is able to take the lighter fluid from him, douse him in the lighter fluid, then take the lighter off of Shrevey, then light Shrevey up without lighting himself up. Um, and then we come back, and Shrevey is fully lit up in CGI flames. Meanwhile, there are like burns happening on his body, like on his forehead. You can see it. And he's been lit up for like half a second. Hilarious. And the cherry on the top is I don't think the barn even burned down. He's inside the barn. You know what's in barns? Usually dry hay. That thing would light up like a Christmas tree. I'm pretty sure that barn would burn down. And then later, Chris is unaware that this even happened. And I'm sorry, like, I don't even know, was that her barn or her next door neighbor's barn? Or it was pretty close because he was meeting Jeremy at night. So it just doesn't add up either. Now, I thought it was an extremely clunky way of revealing that Aunt Hildy knows something of the goings on, what's happening, through the farmer played by Clyde Tyrone Harper. Also, a role that I thought was very subpar in the acting department, um, certainly in his death scene. But eh, he's got to die because he uttered her name in that she knows something, and now he has to die. His death, and for my brother-in-law, this was the most hilarious part of the film, and I think I agree with him. Um, he he was laughing pretty good at this one. I actually rewound it so we could watch it again for him. He thought it was quite funny. It's pure amateur hour, unfortunately. He's driving his truck, which goes dead, which shows for a second time in this film. Bubba actually has control over electronics in a way that a normal ghost would not, in my opinion. The other one was with the Mr. Spool's tape player or boombox. It wasn't plugged in, or sorry, it wasn't on, or and the music doesn't stop playing. Yeah, but anyways, so then the farmer hears something. He sees Bubba out the window. he jumps outside the truck, and then he's instantly run over by a truck that you never heard or he never knew was anywhere behind him. Uh, yeah, so that one was a pretty funny scene. But things I would change. Now, in these things certainly one, in my opinion, make the film watchable or good, but a couple of things I certainly would have changed to the characters. Um, and maybe this goes down the alley of Stephen King a bit, but I but it's also in his the character of Jeremy. I totally think this would happen. Um, it's witness him being bullied by other people his own age. Um, that would have added something. Um, and would also get me into his character rather than distancing myself from him because he's so strange as well. And as well, having the mother, as I said, I like like her motherliness is coming out, but I would even crank that up a bit, um, and make her even, you can say, overbearing as the mother, showing that there really must be something big as to why she is doing this or why she is treating her son the way she is. Um, there's a couple of things, anyways. And then finally, they show a picture of Bubba. It's in the cops' files that Terry is showing to Chris, and I'm not sure the legality of that. Can he do that? I'm not sure. It's a closed case, I think. I don't know, but they have a picture of Bubba, and I thought it was really funny because it's a picture of him in the first film when he's running away from the angry, murderous gang. Good time to get a picture of him. I thought that was pretty funny. But that is Dark Knight of the Scarecrow 2. One I would not suggest watching. Just watch the original one, enjoy that film. It ends and it works on itself. Um, I don't know. I don't know why Fiegelson thought that there was a sequel in there in the works, whatever. But anyway, that's it. So, anyways, that was fun. Can't wait to bring you my next review, which hopefully isn't too far away. But until then, stay scared.